Hello everyone, I am Shweta Udayakumar studying first MSc Microbiology at Vivekananda Arts and Science College for Women, Sangagiri. This presentation was prepared under the guidance of Dr. Dinesh Kumar Sir, Assistant Professor, Department of Microbiology. Subject Bioremediation, and my topic is about Phytoremediation of Heavy Metals in Soil. Now discuss about content. Introduction. Common heavy metals in soil, sources of heavy metal pollution, effects of heavy metals, what is phytoremediation, principles of phytoremediation, types of phytoremediation, hyperaccumulator plants, mechanisms of metal uptake, advantages and applications. Heavy metal contamination is a serious environmental problem across the world due to rapid industrialization, urbanization, and agricultural activities. Large amounts of toxic metals are released into the environment. These metals mainly accumulate in soil where they remain for a long time. Common heavy metals such as lead, cadmium, mercury, arsenic, chromium and nickel are toxic, non-biodegradable and persistent in nature. When they are entered into the food chain, they possess severe risk to plants, animals and humans. To overcome this problem, phytoremediation has emerged as a green, eco-friendly and cost-effective solution. Now discuss about common heavy metals in soil. Lead. It is one of the most widespread soil contaminants. It mainly enters the soil through battery industries, paints, automobile emissions, mining activities and sewage sludge. Next, cadmium. It is highly toxic metal even at very low concentrations. It enters the soil mainly through phosphate fertilizer, industrial waste, electroplating industries and sewage sludge. Next, mercury. It is a dangerous and persistent heavy metal. Its sources include gold combustion, mining activities, chemical industries and waste incineration. Next, arsenic. It is contamination serious problem, especially in agricultural soils and groundwater. Next, nickel. It is present naturally in small amounts in soil but becomes toxic at higher concentrations. Major sources include metal processing industries, mining, fossil fuel combustion and waste disposal. Sources of heavy metal pollution. Smelting is a process of extracting metals from their ores using heat. Next, corrosion involves the slow degradation of metals due to chemical reactions with air, water or soil. Corroded pipelines, tanks and metal structures releases heavy metals into soil and water. Next, fossil fuel combustion. It involves burning coal, petroleum and diesel releases heavy metals present in fuels. Forestry. Use of metal-based pesticides, herbicides and preservatives in forestry. Improper disposal of industrial waste, electronic waste, batteries and sewage sludge. Now discuss about effects of heavy metals. First, effects of plants. Heavy metals have harmful effect on plants by interfering with their normal growth and development. They reduce seed germination and inhibit root and shoot growth. Effects on soil and microorganisms. In soil, heavy metals reduce fertility and negatively affect beneficial microorganisms. They alter soil structure and pH and inhibit the activity of nitrogen-fixing bacteria and other microbes that are essential for nutrient cycling. The effects on aquatic ecosystem. When heavy metals enter water bodies through industrial discharge or surface runoff, they contaminate rivers, lakes and groundwater. Effects on animals. Animals are exposed to heavy metals through contaminated food and water. These metals accumulate in their tissues over time and many damage vital organs such as liver and kidneys. The heavy metals also pose serious risks to human health. Lead can impair brain development, especially in children. Mercury affects the nervous system, while cadmium damages the kidneys and bones. What is phytoremediation? Phytoremediation is an environmentally friendly technique that uses plants to clean polluted soil, water, and air. It is considered a green technology because it uses natural plant process instead of harmful chemicals. Use of plants to remove, reduce, or stabilize contaminants. Phytoremediation mainly involves using plants to remove, reduce, or stabilize harmful pollutants from the environment. Some plants have the natural ability to absorb toxic substances such as heavy metals, pesticides, and industrial pollutants. The principles of phytoremediation. The basic principles of phytoremediation is that plants absorb heavy metals from contaminated soil through their roots. Once absorbed, those metals are either stored in the roots or translocated to the shoots and leaves through the plant's vascular system. Some plants, known as hyperaccumulators, can accumulate large amounts of metals without showing toxicity symptoms. After sufficient accumulation, the plants are harvested and properly disposed of, which helps remove heavy metals from the soil. Types of phytoremediation: phytoextraction, phytostabilization, rhizofiltration, phytodegradation, and phytovolatilization. This is an phytoremediation process. The first step is uptake of heavy metals. Plant roots absorb water and nutrients from the soil. Along with water, dissolved heavy metal ions also enter the roots. This process occurs through natural transport system in root cells. The metals then move from roots to stems and leaves through the xylem tissue. Phytoextraction, which means absorption and accumulation. In phytoextraction, plants absorb heavy metals from soil. Metals accumulate in above ground parts like leaves and shoots. After growth, these plants are harvested and removed. This gradually reduces metal concentration in soil. Example: sunflower and mustard plants are commonly used. Next step is phytostabilization, which means root immobilization. In phytostabilization, plants do not remove metals completely. Instead, roots bind or immobilize metals in the soil. This prevents metals from spreading to groundwater or entering the food chain. It reduces the mobility and toxicity of contaminants. Third, rhizofiltration. In this process, plant roots absorb, concentrate, and precipitate toxic metals from polluted water sources such as groundwater, wastewater, and surface water. These roots act as natural filters by trapping and binding heavy metal ions like lead, cadmium, mercury, and arsenic. Unlike phytoextraction, which mainly occurs in soil, rhizofiltration is specifically effective in aquatic environments. Phytodegradation, which means pollutant breakdown. In phytodegradation, plants break down organic pollutants into less harmful substances. Enzymes present in plant tissues helps in degradation. This method is mainly useful for organic contaminants, but it supports overall soil health. And next, phytovolatilization, which means metal volatilization. In phytovolatilization, plants absorb certain metals. These metals are converted into volatile forms. The volatile forms are released into the atmosphere through leaves. For example, mercury and selenium may undergo this process, and the final results clean biomass. After absorption and stabilization, the contaminated area becomes safer. Plants produce biomass. Contaminated plant parts are harvested and disposed safely. This process gradually restores soil quality. Now see about hyperaccumulator plants. It are special types of plants that can tolerate and accumulate very high concentrations of heavy metals. in their tissues without showing toxic effects. These plants absorb metals through their roots and store them mainly in their shoots and leaves. Because of this ability, they are widely used in phytoextraction process. Examples include Brassica juniaceae, which is effective in accumulating lead and cadmium, Class B cerulescens, which is known as for zinc accumulation, and Helianthus annus, commonly known as sunflower, which can accumulate lead. These plants play an important role in cleaning contaminated soils in an eco-friendly and cost-effective way. Now see about mechanisms of metal uptake. The mechanisms of metal uptake in phytoremediation begins with root absorption, where plant roots absorb heavy metals from contaminated soil through active and passive transport system. After absorption, the metals are gelated by organic acids and other compounds inside the plant cells. This gelation process reduces toxicity and helps in safe movement within the plant. The metal gelate complexes are then transported from roots to shoots through the xylem tissue. Finally, the metals are stored safely in vacuoles of plant cells. Let's discuss about advantages of phytoremediation. Phytoremediation has several important advantages. It is an eco-friendly and cost-effective method for removing contaminants from soil and water. The technique can be applied both in situ at the contaminated site and ex situ after removing the soil. It is aesthetically pleasing because plants improve the appearance of polluted areas. Now discuss about application. Removal of heavy metals, cleaning contaminated agricultural soils, treatment of industrially polluted sites, reclamation of mining and mine tailings, stabilization of metals in soil, prevention of metal leaching. Thank you for watching this video.